So what is going on, everybody? Today I dropped an AMC video, and these are just some extra pieces that I left out of the video, so this is probably going to be a minute or two. The reason for leaving them out of the video is none other than I honestly just forgot to put them in the video, and I came back to do some charting as well to add a few other simple things. But okay, so I wanted to talk about the S&P 500 real quick, and what I have laid out in the orange is the 2008 market crash all the way up to 2010, and if you plop this right over the S&P 500, you can kind of see that things look very similar. Now, many people have correlated this crash to the '08 crash and other substantial crashes within the market, but I think this matches the best. Okay, so from where it was lined up and where it was drawn out, it matches the best. And if this were to play out, I just want to give you guys a what if, because I don't think the economy is at necessarily its best for the SPY to actually be in a bull market. So I think this is a temporary rally, which would bring us up to about 430-ish, give or take, on the S&P 500. With that being said, this rally isn't necessarily over, but it could be very, very soon, right? We got up to 425 on the SPY, and another thing that's kind of aiming towards a larger sell-off is the Bollinger Bands. Okay, on the S&P 500, you can see that each time the SPY does touch the Bollinger Bands or tries to break out of them, you see a major sell-off to the downside. You see it back here. It tries to break out of the Bollinger Bands. It gets slapped. You see it back here. It top wicks, tries to break out, and it gets slapped. And you see it up here as well. It tries to come down. It tries to come out, and eventually comes down very harshly when touching along the Bollinger Bands. You also see it very recently right here. Okay, this was a major sell-off. I kind of just wanted to touch on this because we are nearing the edge, and I think one more big green day, which would bring us to that 430 level, right? 427, 430, somewhere around that rejection area. It is going to be testing that Bollinger Band wall, and very rarely does it break out of this. Okay, so I'm just letting you guys know on the overall market, I personally am not expecting this to be a clean ride to the upside. Okay, so that is ultimately what I'm expecting. If we do see a temporary sell-off, you're looking at 414 for a bounce, somewhere in that zone, somewhere in that area, or just a large sell-off after that. If we do not actually rebound from 414, of course. That is just what I wanted to touch on the SPY, and this kind of goes over to AMC. We personally don't need the S&P 500 in a bull market for AMC to quote-unquote squeeze. It just has to have enough of a rally to where it puts enough pressure on short sellers and their positions, on their over-leveraged positions. Now, I wanted to touch on AMC, on the Bollinger Bands real quick as well. This very often does not exit the Bollinger Bands as well. It did back here on the squeeze, right? Squeeze up to 20. And it did on the squeeze up to 70. The reason for this, right, you're not really going to, it also did right here for a little bit of a second, but what you'll notice about is every time it hits, all right, like this candle right here, this daily candle was 228 million in volume. We'll take any candle, 500 million, 766, 600 million. We'll take a candle back here, 1.25 billion. You guys get the point, right? It broke out of the Bollinger Bands over here, 226 million, 212 million. Both of the times it was out of the Bollinger Bands. Now, right now, we are actually out of the band wall. We're trying to get pulled back in, and we don't want that because when it does get rejected and pulled back in, you can see the harsh sell-offs that do occur. You see it right here. You see it right here. You see it right here. You see it back here, you see it back here, you see it everywhere, right? So I kind of just wanted to touch on this and say that in order for AMC to have this major rally that we're waiting for, or at least a decent one up to 36 or more, you need this volume to actually pick up like crazy, especially the way it's touching on the Bollinger Band walls. Now, if we pop AMC over to the weekly time frame, this is something to pay attention to as well, right? When they contract, AMC usually does very well, right? They contracted back here, they got tight, they got small, AMC ran up, and they expanded a little bit, traded sideways, and then they started contracting again. AMC ran up, they expanded, they contracted right here, and we actually got a sell-off. This is where everybody thought it was going to rip to the upside. again expanded, and they have been contracting for a bit now. And now AMC has a chance to actually get this volume pickup. So this is just some pieces I left out of earlier's video, and I kind of just wanted to put that out there and focus on that. So if you guys didn't see the video that I posted earlier, make sure to go watch that, because that has all of the main stuff about AMC and everything else. That is it, guys. I love you all. Make sure to smash the like, hit that subscribe button, check all the links down below, link pinned in the comments to get your free stock so you guys get the whole spiel. Make sure to subscribe. Peace.